Hey everybody, it's Jenna. The latest trailer for Superman is confirmed to be dropping on Wednesday, and we're already getting some glimpses at new footage from a Milk-Bone tie-in commercial. That commercial, as well as just the general vibe of the marketing thus far, seems like as good of an excuse as any to talk about the best boy, Krypto. Created by Otto Bender and Kurt Swan in 1955's Adventure Comics number 210, Krypto is introduced as Kal-El's childhood dog from Krypton, who was separated from him as a puppy for the sake of Jor-El's experiments. In an issue published 2 years before the real-life like of the space dog, Jor-El sent Krypto away in a prototype of the rocket that would eventually bring Kal-El to Earth, only for the rocket to get knocked off course and arrive on Earth a decade later. Armed with hyper-intelligence and his own miniature version of Superman's powers, Krypto quickly caught the attention of Kal-El, who was then operating as the teenage Superboy. He was given a home and a matching cape and collar, so the sight of a flying dog didn't terrify the general public. Krypto quickly became a fan-favorite character and a staple of Superman's supporting cast, even earning his own solo feature and his own convoluted secret identity as the Kent's ordinary dog Skip. As the decades went on, he wasn't solely confined to Superman stories either. He got amnesia and briefly ended up in the care of Green Arrow and Black Canary, and he joined organizations like the Legion of Super Pets. Alan Moore and Kurt Swan's 1986 story Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow saw Krypto die from radiation after saving Superman in battle. But as the old saying goes, you can't keep a good dog down, as Krypto frequently avoided comics purgatory through being rebooted, thrown into pocket universes, and the like. Some reboots kept his initial origin, while others ignored it in favor of him being an ordinary dog who happened to end up in the care of the Superman family. Some reboots depowered him entirely, while others gave him all of his powers and the chaotic energy of a normal dog. Also, shout out to this meme, which makes me laugh every single time I see it. After his early appearances gave him a very cartoony, almost droopy dog vibe, most artists drew him as a scruffy white dog of ambiguous breed. And then there's the New 52 version, which did the most New 52-y thing and basically made him look like a wolf. Most recently, Krypto has returned to his usual design and status quo and has been the family dog of Clark Lois and their son John Kent, all while embarking on adventures by himself and with Supergirl. A Krypto miniseries is launching in June from Ryan North and Mike Norton, and it promises to deliver the definitive modern origin of Krypto, whatever that entails. As Krypto has had this decade-spanning and often chaotic comic history, he has made his way into video games and plenty of animation. A Krypto the Super-Dog animated series, which was my first gateway to DC when I was a kid, ran for 2 seasons in the 2000s and gave him an ensemble cast of pet-themed heroes and villains. And of course, Krypto was also the centerpiece of the 2022 League of Super Pets movie. In live action, versions of Krypto have factored into the latter half of Smallville, being renamed to Shelby in honor of Martha Kent's old dog, as well as Titans in the final season of Superman and Lois. Despite all of this, Krypto has yet to make his live-action film debut, and outside of his own animated series, these adaptations have only started to scratch the surface of his wacky and fun history. That is why I'm so excited to see what Superman and the DCU arc for Krypto ultimately delivers. The footage we've seen so far has definitely translated the chaotic energy of him being a dog, and not really knowing his own strength, but still being adorable and very caring towards Clark. As someone who has had dogs practically my entire life, there's something so hyper-specific and universal in Krypto's cadence so far. Doubly so when we know that James Gunn's own dog Ozu was the literal model for Krypto. We also know that we're getting a series of seasonal Krypto shorts after the release of Superman, and without getting into spoilers, Krypto plays a pivotal role in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of arc he goes on even just within the next year. I've seen some complaints that Krypto has been too prominent in the Superman marketing so far, and that he might be too big of a part of the movie, but I don't think that's going to be the case. This movie is stacked with an ensemble of heroes and villains and supporting cast members, and in my mind, Krypto is among them. He's just one of the easiest to present to the audience out of context without spoiling much else. Whether a viewer already knows about Krypto or is learning for the first time that Superman has a pet dog, he is also making it abundantly clear that this new version of Superman is more lighthearted and fun and wacky than what we've had recently. Plus, I also think Krypto stands out because, with a few exceptions, we haven't really given other superhero pets their due on screen. They were either barely featured in their respective adaptations, they were in an adaptation that wasn't well received, or they were overly modernized to the point of not even being a pet at all. In theory, the MCU could and should already be at a point of having its own pet Avengers, but unfortunately that isn't the case. I'm not saying the DCU needs to get to a point of having a full live-action Super Pets team, although I would sell my soul for Batcow and Brave and the Bold, but I do think Krypto's arc on screen is going to be something adorable and special. After James already helped us fall in love with raccoons and rats and talking trees, I have no doubt. Are you excited to see Krypto in the new Superman movie? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you haven't already done so. Merch is available at the link in the description. As always, you can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, go read some comics.